I sit at the gate with my suitcase beside me, scrolling through old photos on my phone one last time. I send a quick voice message to a friend I made in Vietnam, promising to keep in touch once I land. Looking out at the tarmac, I think back on everything that brought me here. The hard months, the quiet village, and now this. The boarding call comes through the speakers, and I take a breath, pick up my bag, and walk toward the gate. Somewhere over the South China Sea, I watch clouds drift past the window, equal parts nervous and hopeful. The plane touches down at Pudong International, and stepping off, everything feels different. The signage, the announcements, the pace of the crowd. I follow the signs toward the metro, a single ride running about 4 yuan, roughly 55 cents. That's a fraction of what a single subway ride cost me back in the States, where fares alone had crept past $3. The train pulls away from the airport, and through the window, Shanghai's skyline slowly comes into view for the first time. My new place is a shared apartment near downtown. My own room, barely 10 square meters, split with 2 flatmates I haven't met yet. Rent comes out to roughly $250 a month, which sounds steep until I remember what a studio cost me back home. I set my suitcase down in the corner, not bothering to unpack fully, telling myself this is temporary for now. A framed photo from my old shoot sits half buried in the suitcase. I leave it there for tonight. I lie back on the thin mattress for a moment, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I've made the right decision at all. The next morning, I walk toward Nanjing Road, one of the busiest shopping streets in the country, lights already blazing. Mannequins in the windows wear silk gowns, tailored blazers, and summer dresses. A visual language I still read fluently from my old career. I find the boutique tucked just off the main strip, stand outside a moment studying the sign, then step through the door. The manager greets me in careful English, mixed with Mandarin, pleased that a foreign hire can talk to the store's international customers. I'm led through the boutique section by section. Silk evening gowns on one wall, office dresses on another, summer pieces near the window. I run my fingers along the fabric samples, quietly cataloguing weight and drape the way I used to before every shoot I ever worked.
For this campaign, the rate is
The manager
$500 per
mentions
day
the base
plus a
pay for the
10%
trial
commission.
month, somewhere
The
around
details regarding payment schedules and tax
$620,
deductions
with
are
room to
outlined
grow
here.
once commission kicks in. With strong sales, that number can climb past $900. Less than my old advertising work, but stretching much further here. I do the math quietly in my head, converting yuan back to dollars out of old habit, still not quite used to the new numbers yet. By mid-morning, the manager asks if I'd model a few new arrivals for the store's social media, an old skill suddenly useful again. I step behind a folding screen and change into a fitted silk dress, the color of dark tea, muscle memory already returning. Standing near the window where the light falls softest, my old posture returns almost on its own. Chin lifted, gaze steady. The manager snaps a few photos, visibly impressed, asking if I've done this kind of work before. I just smile and say I used to, once, a lifetime and one country ago, and leave it at that. For a second, standing there in front of a lens again, it almost feels like nothing has changed at all. And everything has. 2 other sales associates introduce themselves in halting English, giggling at their mistakes, and I answer back in imperfect Mandarin. Nobody minds the language gap much. We communicate through gestures, shared laughter, and holding up outfits for opinions. By the end of it, one of them has already added me on WeChat and invited me to lunch next week.
You have to try it on.
My first customer is a tourist struggling to explain what she wants, and I step in, translating between English and simple Mandarin. I pull 3 dresses in her size, offering honest opinions on which cut actually flatters her. She leaves with 2 dresses and a genuine thank you, and something settles in my chest that has nothing to do with the sale. It's a strange kind of pride, helping someone else feel good in an outfit instead of just being the one wearing it. At lunch, I grab a simple rice box from next door for about $3.50, eating it on a stool behind the counter. It's a fraction of what a rushed lunch used to cost me between shoots back home, though I've stopped counting quite so closely today. In the quieter afternoon, I help restyle the front window, rearranging dresses by color instead of size, an eye trained from years of styling. The manager steps back, nods slowly, and admits the window hasn't looked this good since the store first opened. A small crowd stops to look within the hour, 2 of them wandering in to ask about the featured dress. I watch from behind the counter, quietly proud of a contribution that has nothing to do with how I look on camera. As the shop closes for the evening, I say goodbye to my new coworkers, already looking forward to lunch next week. Instead of heading straight home, I walk toward the Bund, wanting to see the skyline everyone keeps talking about. The lights along the river switch on just as I arrive, glass towers glowing against a deep blue sky. I stand there for a while, just watching, letting the city be beautiful without needing to photograph it for anyone. It's the kind of view I used to only ever see through a work lens. Tonight, I let myself just look at it. On the walk back to the metro, I stop at a street stall for noodles, the whole bowl costing under $1.50. I eat standing up, watching the evening crowd move past, feeling more anonymous and somehow more myself than in a long time. The metro ride home is quiet, mostly commuters headed the same direction, everyone lost in their own version of today. Back in my small shared room, I finally unpack the framed photo from my old shoots and set it on the windowsill. I sit on the bed, scrolling through the photos the manager took that morning, oddly proud of how natural it still felt. It isn't the life I used to have, and some nights that still stings more than I say out loud. I think about messaging my old agent, just to see, then decide against it and put the phone face down instead. There's a version of me that would have called today a step backward. Smaller room, smaller number, smaller world. But there's another version of me, the one actually living it, who felt more like herself today than she has in over a year. I still don't know exactly where this leads, or how long I'll stay, or what comes after Shanghai. But for the first time in a long while, I fall asleep already looking forward to tomorrow, and that's enough tonight. If you're figuring out your own next step right now, wherever you are, I hope this reminds you it doesn't have to look impressive to be real. Sometimes it's just a small room, a new job, and one honest day that actually felt like your own. Thank you for following this part of the journey with me. There's more of the story still to come.